Women's basketball weekly update from GoJax.com. The head coach Aaron Johnston front and center. First opportunity for your program to ever play in the Sanford Pentagon on Friday. A nice win over Dakota Wesleyan. How did things go for your program?
Well, first of all, it's a fun experience. You know, everybody that's played down there has always had positive feedback, and for our first time, we'd have the same response. They just really take great care of you, and you feel like you're walking into a special place. The crowd was fantastic. You know, we had a really good crowd there. When you look at certainly some of their men's games they've hosted, they draw well, but some of their women's games have been up and down. But when you see the following both teams really had, I think that's fun for the state and fun for a local fan to go and watch a lot of people you saw in high school. So the environment was great and the facility was great, and we really appreciate them hosting us down there. The game part of it was good for us. You know, first half, second half were different results and different feels, but overall I thought we played very well. You know, in the second half we cleaned up a few defensive errors that maybe we made early, but we had really good balance offensively. Peyton obviously had a really big game, but outside of that a lot of people did a lot of things for us, so really good step forward in the right direction.
Speaking of steps forward and speaking of Peyton, we had talked about that going into the year. You needed a couple of people to make that step forward. What have you seen from her from last year to this year? Because she's really started the year well.
You know, Peyton has. She's always been such a good finisher. Last year she ended up playing probably more on the perimeter just because of our offense. We were really guard oriented, so we tried to keep that area cleared out. And ultimately she's best around the basket. And in this game, particularly the second half, she really found her space down there. And she's done that, I think, against both Creighton and Drake too. The difference is we have to figure out how to use everybody's strengths. That's where I think this year is still a bit of an adjustment period for us. You know, last year we knew how we were going to use key people's strengths, and everybody had to fit around them. Right now we're trying to figure out who are we going to fit around who, so to speak, meaning who are going to be our playmakers, who are the ones that need touches, where do they need those touches, where are they most comfortable, and then how does everybody else complement that. And I'd say there's some of that still going on, which is typical after 2 or 3 games. So I feel good about where we're at, but I think you'll start to see more of a comfortable look from our players, kind of understanding where shots come from for each player, because ultimately in basketball everybody's got to be on the same page every possession or it just doesn't work. And so Peyton, to your point, I think has started to understand here's how I can help our team, and more importantly her teammates are starting to understand here's how we can help her get those shots, not just with a pass, but you know, timing of cuts and spacing, all those things come into it, and she really took advantage of it in that game.
And as you've said, this is still a work in progress. The finished product of your team is nowhere near where they're at right now.
Well, no. I mean, I think I've seen spurts of it. Like I can go back in each game and find great 2-3 minute stretches where I'm like, oh boy, that team is really good, and they're going to be hard to beat from anybody. But then we have some stretches where maybe it doesn't quite fit the way we want it to. So, you know, overall, I'm really pleased with where the team is at. We'd always love to win every game we play, but I see signs in practice and in games of where we want to be. And so I think I'm really optimistic and feel really good about where they're at. Just being more consistent, and as I said, offensively, kind of identifying clearer roles for everybody on how they're going to make the whole package work, not just individually. But I think we're really close there. This year's team's got a lot of new faces playing. Some of them you've seen a lot over the years, but their roles are all very different. And when you try and put all that together, it does take a little bit of time. But I like where the team's at, and our leaders have been really good about keeping everybody moving forward. And I'm excited to get back home and play a couple games in Frost Arena here now.
That's exactly my next question. To play in Frost, this place has been so special over the years. I don't have to tell you that. To be able to play to at Frost Arena finally has to be very sweet.
You know, it's yeah, absolutely. The fans are phenomenal. The environment is as good as any place around. There's a reason we've won probably 90% of our games there in the past 20 years. It's a tough place for people to play. Now, we have to make it tough. I think I want to make sure we emphasize that. We've got to do our part on the floor of defensively and offensively playing at a really high level. And I think our team is anxious to do that. You know, I think we'll be a hungry basketball team moving forward. I think we've got enough of an idea of what we want to do. Now the focus can be on how we want to do it. I think early we're spending a lot of time talking about, you know, details and cuts and spacing, so there's a lot of thinking going on. You want to get to the point where you know what you're doing, and now you can just go after it. And I think we looked better with that down in Sioux Falls, and people will see that in Frost. Tegan, I thought, responded and had a good game for us. We need her to continue to find her rhythm offensively, kind of understanding how we want to use both Lindsay and Riley at different times together and separate. I think we're getting more comfortable with that. We rebounded the ball far better in that game than we had. I think we have a little better, you know, plan and clarity there. So there's some things that are really coming together. Now it'll be fun to see if we can do it in front of the home crowd.
Well, those 2 games coming up Thursday night at 7, Montana State, Saturday at 6, Wyoming. 2 programs you are no strangers to. Just a little 10,000-foot view on who the Jacks will see from the opposition this week.
You know, in both games, you'll see some experience out there. Montana State will play a lot of seniors who really understand kind of what they're trying to do, play very fast. Both teams defensively are very good. You know, they don't give you a lot of easy shots. I don't think you're going to see just two track meets where we're flying up and down, but both teams will play at a fast pace and up tempo. Both teams are expected to be good teams in their league, so when you look at their respective conferences, they're both very good women's basketball leagues. So we'll know a lot more if we've improved the way we've talked about here come Saturday night.